Hi everybody, welcome to Live Fit Kitchen. We have Dr. Purcell here with us again today.
Hello. Hi everyone.
Thank you for joining us. This is another part in our series on Thanksgiving dishes, and this is a Live Fit Kitchen first, I think. This is a dessert. This is really exciting, but Dr. Purcell said that this is a healthy dessert. She said it's full of pectin, and when I asked why I like pectin, she had quite an answer. But let's talk about the recipe first. Take us through it.
Okay, so we're having poached pears with orange juice is the second half of the title here. You take 4 pears, 1/3 cup of fresh squeezed orange juice, 1/4 cup of water, 10 drops of liquid stevia, my favorite sugar alternative, natural sweetener, 1/4 teaspoon of orange extract, and 2 teaspoons of orange zest.
So those are the ingredients that I used to prepare today. You could also, Dr. Purcell told me, have used an orange stevia. So if you have the orange flavored stevia already, then you could use that and leave the orange extract out.
That's true.
But I just had orange extract and regular stevia at home, so that's what we used. So the one little alteration I did make that I didn't happen to mention before was I didn't have a pot of the right size to hold all 4 pears. So I made a 3-pear recipe. I cut 4 up, tried to fit them in the pot, and realized it wasn't going to work. So anyway, so I just have a small sampling of our pears here to demonstrate. So what I did was I actually followed the directions better than some of the other recipes. I peeled all of the pears and took the cores out and put them in the pot with the orange juice mixture. Now that is fresh squeezed orange juice. I had to squeeze 1 and a bit of an orange this size to get my 1/3 cup. And so I put the orange juice and the water in, and when I put my pears in, initially it seemed like they weren't touching the liquid very much, and I was very concerned that that wasn't going to work out. But after I cooked it, actually the liquid came out of the pears and, I don't know, rose up from the bottom of the pot or something, and there was a lot more liquid than I expected. So if you look in your pot and you think, gee, that doesn't look right, there's only that much liquid at the bottom, it's okay. So talk us through.
All right, so Alicia peeled her pears, she stuck them in the pot in a little bit of orange juice and water. And what my recommendation is for you to collect the orange zest from the rind of the orange before you squeeze the juice. So it's just a little bit getting a little bit ahead of yourself, because once you squeeze the orange, it's going to be very difficult to get the zest off the skin.
That makes sense. I actually had to grab a different orange because I looked at my squeezed skins and I was like, this is not going to work very well. And actually, just on zesting, I don't own one of those fancy little zesters. I used the microplane cheese grater that I haven't used for cheese in forever, but I used that to zest my orange. And I hope you can see on the camera here, I took just the orange part of the skin. Don't get any of the white. Apparently that doesn't taste as good.
That's true. The white of the orange actually is very nutritious. It's called the pith, P-I-T-H, and it's filled with bioflavonoids. However, it tastes a little bit bitter. And so for our purposes and for this recipe, the best thing to do is just to grate off the orange part of the skin. And actually the microplane that you used is the perfect way to get the zest. If you use one of those more expensive zesters, or I don't even know what the term is, they actually don't work as well as the microplane. So
happy coincidence. Okay, so did I put my stevia in? I can't remember now. Did I put that in with the water and the orange juice?
You really need to. You really need to create this nice, delicious tasting soup that you're going to poach or steam the pears in. Because then the moisture comes out of the pears, the liquid goes into the pears, and then it becomes this nice symbiotic kind of gelatinous soup.
So I cooked it covered. The recipe said 10 to 15 minutes. I think that my pears were not quite as ripe as they could have been. They felt like they were going to be ripe, and then they just weren't as ripe as I thought. So it actually took my slightly less ripe pears closer to 20 minutes to get to. The recipe said until they're soft. So, you know, when I could poke a fork in and they were, you know, very tender, but definitely nowhere near falling apart, I considered them done and took them out. And then we make sauce.
That's right. So Alicia takes the pears out of the pot, and then the liquid that's left in there, we then add the zest to. So everything goes into the pot except for the zest. The zest goes in at the end.
Okay, so I took my pears out, I added my zest. I used 2 full tablespoons because I love a good strong flavor, and so that's the teaspoons, I'm sorry, not tablespoons, I take that back. 2 teaspoons of zest. It was most of the skin of this orange. You can see there's only really a little bit of it left there. So I put the zest in and I turned the heat up a little bit so that it would reduce down, and then poured it into my little container and put it in the fridge for a couple of hours. So my pears have cooled, they were in the fridge too, and then to serve them, you just add the sauce.
Now there's two ways to serve these pears. You can keep them out of the sauce and refrigerate the sauce and then drizzle the sauce over so it's more of a thick syrupy consistency, or you can actually take them out of the pot, make the rest of your sauce and then put it on and then chill them with the sauce on it so that the pears seep up more of the flavor.
And it'd be kind of more like almost a glaze kind of.
Right, so it'll be more like a glazed poached pear.
Yum. Okay, so here we go. So we went for the slightly thicker refrigerated option.
It's a really nice thick glaze that she's drizzling on right now.
Look at my sauce, I'm so impressed.
Pears are really a fantastic fruit because they are one of the most hypoallergenic fruits. So of people who are allergic, they tend to not react to pears. Pears are one of those safer fruits. They contain quite a bit of pectin, which actually is a bulk fiber. And what that does is it helps move things through our colon so that toxic waste and byproducts don't get caught to the lining of our colon. So it helps pull things through like a train. It actually reduces the risks of colon cancer.
Really?
Who would have known? Pears.
Pears. I love it. Okay, so you'll have to taste my pears and let me know what you think.
Okay. Well, they are soft. You can easily move through them with a spoon. Mmm, good. Very orangey.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The zest does it. And sweet from the stevia. Very nice.
Oh, let's finish it before Jason turns the camera off and wants some. Thank you for joining us.